So picture this, you've spent 2 weeks building the most beautiful manifestation board you could muster up. You've put all your desires, all your goals, your vision, all of your values, like all of this different stuff you've put onto this manifestation board. And you're really proud of it. You feel really aligned with your vision. You're like, yes, like this is complete. This is what I want. And this is the direction that I want to go down. But something funny happens after 2 weeks. You start feeling kind of unaligned with your vision. There's some days where you're like, I don't really value the things that I've put here anymore. You feel yourself changing, you feel your priorities shifting, and your manifestation board slowly starts to crumble and slowly starts to look alien to you. It slowly starts feeling as if this isn't your manifestation board. You've changed so much as a person, you've grown, and that might take 2 weeks, that may take 4 weeks, or it might take 4 months. You might be left with a feeling of like, oh, why did I spend so much time on this manifestation stuff? Manifestation feels rigid. I feel like I changed too much as a person to justify kind of spending hours and hours manifesting. Like, do I even know what I want? How can I know what I want? The universe is always sending me in different directions, and this might be the feelings that you're getting, and that might be why you clicked on this video. And in this video, I'm going to cover how you can make manifestation less rigid and what that actually looks like and what the problem actually is. So the story I spoke about at the start of the video was my story. I remember I was going through these cycles of creating these manifestation documents and then just scrapping the whole thing because I stopped feeling aligned with the vision that I had created. And this was because I was changing so much and I was evolving and I was growing, and different perspectives were being unlocked within my mind that made it seem like the things that I previously valued weren't as valuable anymore. They weren't me anymore. I had resistance to attaching to one specific identity or one specific focus because I noticed myself changing constantly. And I realized after a lot of reflection, I realized that I am not one static thing. I can't just manifest or create a manifestation and then follow it for 3 years non-stop. And that's okay. You can still achieve so many things by not just statically focusing on one thing, because you will not be the same person you are now as you will be in 3 years. And if you are, that's probably because you're not kind of engaging in the world as much. Any person that's kind of growing, evolving, learning, understanding the world and themselves is going to be completely different after a year or 2 or 3. And probably it slows down later on, but I also don't think that's the case. I think that's probably a false paradigm. You still grow and change as you gain new perspectives, as your consciousness is elevated, as the universe and the world around you sends you signs of the directions that you should be going, or that is like kind of suggested for you to go. And kind of tunnel visioning on your specific manifestation without paying attention to the outer world is kind of a recipe for disaster and pain. And I'm going to speak about how I changed my manifestation mentality to better suit the flexibility of a growing person, an ever-changing person, a person that's spiritual, a person that's elevating their consciousness. So there's 3 concepts to understand: divine play, what intentions are, and then what expectations are. So this idea of Leela or divine play is something that really appealed to me when thinking about manifestation. Your manifestation isn't this rigid thing that you have to follow with basically all of your conviction. It should be more like play, and it should be more like you're playing with the universe. You're co-creating the universe. It's not just you. Like, you don't have to bear the burden of being the architect of your reality. If you pay attention to the signs and the different things around you, you'll realize that the universe is pretty much always giving you guidance and direction to where you need to go. And you don't need to control every single element of your existence to kind of carve this path. You will know, And if you're present and patient and kind of open to the signs and you're not tunnel visioned, you will know the directions that you need to go. There will be an intuitive flow and it will feel more like play and less like you're kind of carving your way through life and really trying to use your grit and determination to create the reality that you want. The other concept is intentions, and intentions versus expectations. Intentions are not fixed goals. They're your conscious kind of willingness to want to go in a specific direction. You're not attached to the outcome. And that's what differentiates an intention from an expectation. With like a rigid manifestation board, you become very attached to the outcome. You're like, this is exactly what I want. This is the specific things that I want to achieve. And with intentions, you're kind of detached from the outcome and the expectations, and your focus is more like, imagine an intention as like a funnel of conscious energy pulling you towards a certain direction. The outcome of where the energy goes is not concrete, and it never will be. And this is the kind of illusion of control that we're under, especially people that want to manifest. You're under the illusion that you can dictate everything that happens in your life, but you can't. The universe, quote unquote, has a plan for you. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if you believe in fate or destiny, but there's definitely something out there. And the stiller your mind is, the more present you are, the more you can see that vision that is kind of destined for you. At least that's my perspective. But expectations usually come from fear and insecurity and a sense of wanting to control. You want to make sure that this desired reality comes into fruition. You're kind of desperate for a certain reality. And so you paint a very, very clear, very concrete picture that you don't want to deviate from. But if you've clicked on this video, and as I'm sure you've noticed, you are just full of deviations. You're full of chaos. You're full of uncertainty because you're an ever evolving, not static entity. You're like a flux of all the different things that are coming your way and all the different influences, etc. And you change a lot. And you need to kind of be adaptable to that change. You need to embrace that change, and the path will take you where you need to go. You also, at a more practical level, need to know concretely the things that your body mind value. Right now, at least. Again, like I said, you're going to be changing. But if you want a manifestation, or if you want to be able to pick up the signs or kind of carve a clear direction in your life, if you want manifestation to feel flexible but still kind of focused, you need to understand yourself. And you need to understand where the desires for the things that you want come from. Where are they coming from? Are they coming from fear, insecurity? Why do you want the things that you want? And what are your values? You need to be able to list your current values. Like, what do you value? Do you value love? Do you value truth? Do you value freedom? Do you value things like learning? Do you value kindness? What are the things that you value? Understanding these things will allow you to have so much more clarity in your manifestations and in your day-to-day life. You'll be able to be guided down the path that you want if you understand your values. When you look around the world and you know your values and you've kind of internalized and questioned and understood what you actually want, things become so much clearer. You don't have to make too many decisions. The decisions are kind of, you understand what you hold dear to your heart. You've thought about it a lot. So there's just way less mental load and way less of this indecisiveness. And your values and your desires and understanding these core things, this is kind of the root, the foundation for any manifestation that you do. You need to understand the source. It's not about getting lost in the objects. It's not about like figuring out what specific type of house you want or what specific type of partner you want. It's about kind of fundamentally understanding your values and paying attention to how they change over time. And then from this and from surrender and from understanding and clarity, manifestation becomes a natural extension of your being. You kind of know where to go and how to get there intuitively. You're not getting lost in the specific how-to or the specific details of where you're going to go. You just naturally are guided towards the places you need to go. And like I was saying, you are ever changing, you're ever growing. And a lot of manifestation and a lot of stuff that I see online today talks about just like creating this specific document, like staying open, but they focus so much on these specific little details of how to manifest, how to do this. There's this one trick, there's this blah, blah, blah. Like these are all kind of distractions in a sense of understanding yourself is the core of any form of manifestation, and surrender and play and acting from intentions. Don't create these rigid manifestations that pull you away from understanding yourself and focus you more on understanding the world and your desires. Your desires are not who you are. There's reasons for why you're desiring these things, and there's certain values that you want to align to your manifestations. And you need to understand just how all of these things are kind of interplaying in your mind. So again, don't get lost in the weeds of just trying to manifest in this rigid, unopen way. Understand that you are ever changing, ever flowing, and don't try to block that flow that you are. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about in this video. Hopefully this gave you a different perspective on manifestation. From my experience, it really helped me from creating these rigid documents to actually being more in flow, like understanding my values, understanding what I actually want and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing, and then paying attention to the signs that the universe kind of sends my way. And there will be signs. And again, if you're kind of coming from a Western perspective, or maybe you haven't meditated too much and you're just interested a bit in manifestation, you might not believe that there's signs out there. But trust me, when you still your mind, the universe will basically scream at you, telling you exactly where you should go and what the right path is. Like the signs couldn't be more obvious. But again, you have to understand yourself fundamentally, where you are now. And that is a changing process. But once you do that, the way is much clearer. And yeah, hopefully this video helped, and take care.